Guess what? 2020 is almost coming to an end. In this video, I wanted to do a last update on the status of embassies and consulates worldwide, specifically on the issuance of immigrant visas, when consulates and embassies are going to finally reopen, and what's going to happen as we transition into 2021. Most specifically, we're going to talk about what cases are currently being prioritized at embassies and consulates worldwide. I'm also going to talk about how embassies and consulates decide when to actually reopen. Is there in fact a centralized list of embassies and consulates where we can actually check and see on a week-by-week basis which embassy and consulate will reopen? We'll talk about that too. How do embassies and consulates actually going to work on overcoming the severe backlog that they currently have with cases? Is there a plan of action to overcome these backlogs? We'll talk about that as well. Are there going to be any interview waivers issued in the near future for immigrant visas as well as non-immigrant visas? We'll talk about that too. So, what are you waiting for? Let's dive right in. Hello and welcome to our immigration channel. This is where you get first-hand immigration news, immigration updates, and all the information that you need to empower you in your immigration journey. If you're here for the first time, make sure to subscribe to our channel, click that bell to be notified, and also give us that big like so that on YouTube we'll be able to share this video with more people just like you. My name is Jacob Sapochnik, and I'm an immigration attorney located in San Diego, California. And I help clients in all 50 states. And I'm super excited to bring this update for you today. So, the information that I'm going to provide to you today is coming from a meeting between the State Department and the American Immigration Lawyers Association, where I'm a member as well. And the minutes basically go through many various topics. They talk about immigrant visas, non-immigrant visas, consular reopening, and many other issues. Lots of information. In this video, I specifically wanted to focus on the immigrant visas, consular reopening issues, which so many of you are concerned and worried about, and I wanted to make this video. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to go into the document itself, the minutes of that meeting, which took place on December 11, this is the most recent information we have out there on the status of embassies and consulates, and I wanted to show you the document so we can talk about it right now. So let's jump right in. Let's look right now at the notes, the actual notes between the meeting of the American Immigration Lawyers Association and the State Department, and it's a lengthy document. You can see it's on the State Department website, but I wanted to explain and discuss specifically the issues relating to the reopening of consular posts. So one of the first questions related to that, Ayla is asking, please confirm Ayla's understanding that the decision whether and to what extent a consular post may reopen is a joint decision made by the post with Department of State's approval. Now, remember that in previous videos, and also a lot of some of the questions that I've been getting from our viewers, is that do the posts have their own control to make decisions, or do they need to get approval from the Department of State? And in red is their answer from the State Department. The level of visa services a post is able to provide during the ongoing pandemic amidst staffing shortages and local restrictions is determined by the post itself. So every single embassy, every single consulate it looks like they have the autonomy to make a decision when they should reopen based on their staffing issues and other country conditions. They confirm that. The other question is asked by the Ayla is, does Department of State maintain a centralized repository of the status of approved consulate reopening by post? So essentially, do they have some sort of a centralized list or something? If so, would DOS consider making such a document publicly available to reduce confusion among stakeholders? So essentially, we've been asking for this, or we've been looking for that, and I wish they would have something like that, a list that will put all these consulates in one big document, so we know when they reopen, who's open, who's closed, what's happening next. And here is the response. And they say, each post describes on its website what categories of visa applications it is currently able to accept appointments for, and provides instructions regarding how certain other applicants can request emergency appointments. And of course, they give their, the link to the website. to the information website. Also provides actual appointment wait times for visa categories that are being processed. So if you go to travel.state.gov, content travel, US visas, this particular link, it gives you a general wait time for different visa categories. Result, 999 calendar days or emergency appointments only indicates the post has not yet resumed processing routine applications. So if you see something like 999 calendar days or emergency appointment only, which most of these consulates indicate on the website, that means that this particular post has not yet resumed processing. So the bottom line is that there's no centralized document, and all we can do right now is keep monitoring each individual embassy websites. And again, right now they have this gibberish on their website, whether there's no calendar days available, or they specifically say it's only available for emergency appointments. And if this changes, obviously we'll make another update. But again, this is coming in. What you see here, this is the actual notes between the American Immigration Lawyers Association and the State Department. So another question that everybody's asking is, if when they do reopen, how are they going to reopen it? What are the phases? And there is an appendix. There is an appendix that lists the different phases. And one of the questions is that Ayla asked the State Department is, will the post reopen phases based on the Diplomacy Strong framework? I'm going to show it to you in a second, Appendix A. And then they ask the questions, are the phases and priorities listed in Appendix A still accurate? Are the phases in this appendix, it's called Diplomacy Strong Standard, is the same across posts, or are they merely guidelines which posts have some flexibility? And the third question, please confirm whether a post would always be at the same phase for both immigrant visas and different phase for non-immigrant visas. For example, if Sydney is at phase 3 for immigrant services, does it also have to be in phase 3 for non-immigrant visa services? Once again, I'm going to show you in 1 second what the Appendix A looks like and what are the different phases. And finally, will we see reference to Diplomacy Strong on a variety of post websites? Is it not clear? It is not clear what phase the post is operating under. So it's very confusing right now. We have no idea if a post is on phase 2 or phase 3. The question is, would the Department of State advise posts to share their current operating phase on their websites to make it clear for us to know what phase are they? And so let's look at the phases so you can understand what they are. Okay, so let's look at Appendix A, Diplomacy Strong phases. This is really important, and many of you guys were asking about it, and I wanted to share this here. I mean, I know it's a little bit long video, but I think it's important. So let's look at the Appendix A, the Diplomacy Strong phases. These are the phases that the embassy is supposedly supposed to be under, and I referred to them in the video earlier. So immigrant visas, phases 0 to 1. Again, I'll post a link to this document so you can see it. Suspension of routine visa services with only mission critical or emergency immigrant visa processing. Certain employment-based healthcare professionals, other emergencies, and prior refusals under 221G. Phase 2, posts start to reopen, require 2 months pre-planning for MVC to schedule appointments. So the idea is that once they're in phase 2, MVC has 60 days pretty much to send those cases over, and we know they're coming. Again, prioritize immediate relative, accept those that are blocked under proclamation. Phase 3, resumption of routine services in all immigrant visa services. The posts start to reschedule canceled appointments, including EB-5, immigrant visas for members of the armed forces, and other canceled appointments. And then we have non-immigrant visas, and they also have 3 phases. Okay, so again, you'll be able to reference this document. I'll put a link. Okay. As you saw, we went through the appendix right now, and this is the response of the State Department to all these questions about the phases. And they're saying, although phase reopening routine visa services originally corresponded with phases of the Diplomacy Strong appendix, which we just went through, posts were instructed on November 12 that they are no longer obligated to be in specific Diplomacy Strong phase
before providing additional category of visa services. Posts will determine the volume of visa services that they can provide while prioritizing the health and safety of consular staff. So it looks like they don't care about these phases. They just basically pretty much do whatever they want depending on the post condition. And they also specifically say that posts that process immigrant visa applications will prioritize immediate relative family members of U.S. citizens and inter-country adoptions. And those that process non-immigrant visa categories will continue to prioritize F1, M1s, and J1s, and things like that. So again, resumption of immigrant visa appointments. Basically, the question is, indicates the scheduling of any appointment by MVC or KCC will resume only when the post is authorized to resume routine processes. And so the ALA is asking them to confirm. So once again, their response: upon visa availability, MVC scheduled immigrant visa appointments in chronological order of documentary completed applicants, prioritizing appointments for applicants not subject or accepted from the various presidential proclamations based on a post-by-post capacity basis, consistent with the host country and Department of State guidance on operating safety during the pandemic. They also say that in certain circumstances, such as medical emergency, applicants who may have qualified for a national interest exception may have had their emergency appointment scheduled directly by the immigrant visa unit based on adequate resources. And then the other question is a direct question: have any posts resumed routine immigrant visa services? And they say, yes, some of our mission have phased in processing some routine immigrant visa cases as post-specific conditions permit. They refer to 3 immigrant visa units are in the process of resuming routine visa services. Actually, we believe that one of those immigrant visa units is Frankfurt, based on the availability of their resources. And they're saying that another 89 immigrant visa units have made substantial progress as well, which is good. I mean, we're not sure what that means, but 89 immigrant visa units looks like more and more are going to be reopening, which is good news. Then they're asking, does Consular Affairs plan to resume routine immigrant visa services at any post in second quarter of the government fiscal year? And then they're saying the resumption of routine visa services prioritized after services to U.S. citizens will occur on a post-by-post basis, consistent with the State Department's guidance. So they repeat themselves here. But the good news is that at least 3 of these posts are going to reopen fully in the next few weeks. We know one of them is, like I said, is Frankfurt. So that's good news. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I know it's a little bit lengthy, but I wanted you guys to see the actual document.
So hopefully this information was useful. It's an interesting glimpse into the process that the State Department is going through right now as they are preparing to reopen and get their embassies ready for interviews. What is clear to us is that, once again, we don't have a specific date when each embassy is going to reopen. We don't have a clear idea when appointments are going to be resuming like they used to. But what we do know is that they're actively working on the system. They're doing something to try to somehow get back to normal. I mean, it's going to take them time. As you can see, there's severe backlogs, and they are going to be addressing those backlogs by getting more staffing in there and trying to make the system normal again, if at all possible. They will be, as I mentioned, giving priority to immigrant visas and immediate family members. Those have been really impacted by the backlogs. And hopefully, as the year starts in January, I'll be able to give you even a better update with more specific information, with specific consulates that are actually fully reopened and starting to accept those cases. So once again, thanks for joining me here. If you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give us a big like so YouTube will be able to share this video with more people just like you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next video. So if you like this video, watch these 2 videos for more information just like that.